Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Apex Brotherhood live stream. My name is Richard Butler. I am alone again today. No William still. He is gallivanting his way through Italy, sleeping under bridges and whatnot. After a quick disclaimer, we'll get straight into the market. What a strange transition. Let's get straight into the market. Click. Hey, let's see. All right. I hope everybody is good this morning. You guys are going to have to jump in and keep me company because I'm all alone. Unless somebody wants to jump in on stream. If somebody wants to jump in on stream, send me a message and I will send you an invite. All right, let's get the screen share going. There we go. All right. Haven't really looked that much at the market today. I know that we had news, so this this candle over here is a news event. So need to just remember that news can have quite the volatile impact. So this was GBP, and I think it was claimant count. It doesn't matter. But yeah, this was news. So what does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What it means is that we are going to potentially see some pound weakness. So there we have the very low of Tokyo, which was broken prior to the news with this little downward. We were consolidative the whole morning on GU during Tokyo. So this was the daily open up over here. So if we just kind of mark this out a little bit. So this is the absolute tippy top of the day. So we have the daily high, which is the top of Tokyo. Then we have price creating this little consolidative range, which is the low and the high of Tokyo. And then we have our very first segment of this morning where we actually had some volatility. And this was just prior to news. So this is now a bearish base for the 5 minute. The idea is that you would want to see price head all the way back to this base area, especially seeing as it's the bottom section of the Tokyo as well. Like the very top of this base candle is the bottom section of Tokyo. So potentially we can see price eventually come and retest it for a quote unquote break and retest, but it might be a while. What we do have at the bottom here is a failure to push lower. So the very bottom of the move, pull it all the way through. We have the price going down, creates the low of the day. We have a little bit of a retracement. This should theoretically be, where is that? 0.6, 0.5 for the news event. Should be a lot less so if it is from the full move of the top. Yeah. So just from the news event, this has reached the 0.5 segment. So of the FIB retrace. So technically people like using this as the golden zone, this 0.5 to 0.618 section as a golden zone, an area where price would retrace to and then react off of. I'm not a FIB trader, so I don't generally even have a look at the FIB. But I do think it can be used in the right circumstance. I don't think that it always is going to be the most accurate thing, or that you should base. Let me rephrase that. You shouldn't base your whole trading plan purely on the idea of the fib. There should be other elements added to it as well. So in this case, price came down, made the low of the day from the high. Nice volumetric, nice and strong movement pushing down. This is still the 5-minute time frame, by the way, on pound. We had a retracement and then a continuation to push lower. However, we did not create a new low. So the idea that I want to see happen now, where is my line? There we go. What I want to see is I want to see this high taken or this bottom here, the low taken first. I want to see which one gets tested first. As it stands right now, I do think that price could potentially react off of this line and start pushing lower. So what do we have to aim for? That's the first and foremost thing that we need to go and check. So let's go back to the daily. Let's see if there's a point that we can test. Well, obviously we've had quite the... I'm going to just remove that one because it's going to be a bit annoying. What are you doing over here? I'm going to use it anyway. Here we had some daily consolidation across these 4 days. We get the break, we get the retest, and then an absolute tank lower. So this area on the daily seems like a very nice area to be tested if we do eventually start going higher. But what do we need to react off of before we can test this point? This is now for longs. I'm looking what we can aim for if we have longs. So I'll do the longs, and then afterwards I'll do shorts. So for the long area on the daily, this is a potential area where on the day, these days, it was struggling to break between the upper portion and the lower portion of these few days. And then eventually when it did break, it retested it and started pushing lower. Here we have another daily section. Let's see how it aligns with any of the previous days. We have 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth test over here. But I think it can be refined a lot better so that we can see a bit more. Obviously, I'll go down to the 4-hourly and see if there's more refinement that we can do. Obviously, we have this area over here as well where price tried to make a new high in relation to what happened in July and then started pushing lower, made another base, and then started pushing lower, creating a new low in relation to the previous low. Came back again, no new high, pushed a little bit lower, lower low, lower high, pretty much an equal low, lower high, and then a lower low again. Okay, so let's go over to the 4-hourly and let's see if there's anything that we can see in this area that makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more conclusive as to an area that wishes to be tested. What do we have here? This is a long-term test area over here. So this one I'm just going to remove for now. We are looking for areas where price moved away strongly from a point, and that was also tested multiple times. So we have an area over here. When going back, we have some tests and obviously dips lower than. We also have this bottom section over here, which I will refine just now. Reaction, small little reactions here. Not a particularly strong area. I feel like this area might be a little bit stronger, this top one, because we actually had a very strong reaction here off of it whereas this area over here is a little bit more subdued. So we're still looking for a nice area of reaction. Okay, let's refine this bottom area, I think, a little bit better. So let's start with this area like this, and then we see how the reaction was. Didn't break through. Wick didn't quite break through. This looks good for a potential short area. Yeah, I like this. Sorry. Yeah, I like this. This looks good. Okay, so this one over here, not a massive fan of. I think this one over here is the stronger one, but what I will do is I will just move it down ever so slightly so that we take the very last candle before price dropped strongly, which should be this one over here. This is on the 4 hourly. It is a potential area to be tested. And then we have a base area over here, which is a bit small, but we have multiple reactions off of it. Oh, come on, let's make it a little bit larger. We have a reaction over there. We have some reactions over here, even though it broke through, but it didn't pass. It just failed and pushed back. Potentially all the way back here to this area. It can obviously be a slightly larger area, so just encompassing this whole candle before price just continued pushing higher. So multiple strong reactions off of it. So this area looks fine. So I'll keep this as a secondary area. Let's go down to the hourly and see if there's anything extra for us to check for. We have this area over here that was tested once, twice, broken through, and then retested here. So this is also a nice one. So I'll mark this as an hourly. It's not a base, but I'm going to mark it as a base. And then this one on top was a 4 hourly, not a base, but I'm going to mark it as a base. And then this area is a point of interest because we had a strong reaction from it. Technically, these are support and resistance points. So I'm going to mark them as such. And then we have this one support and resistance point, but this is a 4 hourly one as well. All right, so if we do break through towards the upper end, if we do break through again, seeing as we are still a little bit bullish over the last few days, if we do break, we need to break above this box, this section. I can refine this one down just a little bit, but we need to break through it, and then we have a testing point, first test point, second test point, and then eventually a third test point. But these are very high up. So I feel like these are unlikely to be hit anytime soon. So on the upward, we have these ones to be tested. So we'll eventually just look at the downward, but I want to just refine this area ever so slightly and see if I can narrow it down to one candle. I mean, obviously, if I just pull this one back and we take into consideration this candle over here, we have the reaction. It's coming down. It tries to push up. It fails. It attempts one more time and then absolutely just tanks through. So this to me is the nearest reaction. And then we had it yesterday where price touched it and then tried to push lower, retested it, and then failed this morning. So this to me is a nice area that needs to be broken. So if we do break above, then I want to see it break, retest, and then continue. So break into it, retest the bottom of it, and start pushing higher. But if we do not get that, that is fine. Now, let's look at the bottom. First of all, I'm just going to stay on the hourly because we have a lot more price to the left. We don't have to go that far back to have a look at what can be tested potentially. So we have this area over here where we had a reaction. So that is a potential one. It's the nearest reaction. We do have a base area over here, which is basically where we are right now. So if we almost touched it. So this one over here, it is the very first area of resistance that we need to break through. We have this very nice consolidation over here, which also had a wick reaction as well. So this is also an area of interest for me. So that is the very next one to be tested. So this means that if price breaks through this low point over here, okay, maybe we can remove this one. I think potentially this area over here, but let me refine it a little bit better. Yeah. If price pushes through this, it needs to retest and then succeed on the retest, meaning it doesn't fail pushing through again. And then we want it to push lower. Where is my other tool? I restarted TradingView this morning, and the majority of my tools, my favorite tools here at the bottom, were missing, which is weird. I don't know if there was an update during the evening, but yeah. So if it were to break, it needs to break into this zone, at least just break through the box, test this liquidity point down here where there might be some buyers or sellers, and then have those buyers not push the price much higher and then sell off yet again. Yeah, I do like that. Let's have a look here to see if there's a channel. That was a lovely channel that got broken now. That also means that we have a testing point, which is obviously going to be slightly larger. This candle, the candle that broke the channel, is sometimes also one where price kind of just comes back into and then reacts off of. So I am so far bearish on on GU. So I want to see price continue lower. I want to see on the 15-minute if there's areas to be respected. Yes. I want to see this area taken. I want to see it push lower, and yeah, that's I want to see that. That is what I am looking for as of right now. Let's have a look here. That's actually not a bad base area. Tested, failed, push through. Yeah, I'm looking for GU sells. I'm not interested in buys at the moment, just sells. All right, let me quickly say hello to those of you whom are in chat at the moment. Pooley, first out. Good morning, Pooley. How are you this morning, mate? You're in first. Where the hell is MGN? Infinity. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Infinity. How are you, mate? Good morning, Rich. Morning, Infinity. Unbiased Trader. Unbiased Trader. Is this the first time you're here? Were you here yesterday? I don't remember. Yesterday was a blur. I spent way too many hours streaming yesterday. I can't even remember who I spoke to yesterday. If you are here for the first time, welcome, Unbiased Trader. If you're not, welcome back. I hope William recovered and slept well last night. Dude, me too. Like he's traveling through Italy at the moment. doing a video series for Trade Delicious called Funded Freedom. This is the second iteration that Will and Ewan, his brother, are doing. The first one they did through from Wales through to England, I think. But now it's much larger. They're literally in a different country. The stakes are higher. So yeah, we're all wondering what was the result of yesterday's trading. I do know that he was down $400 at one point, and then eventually he started clawing his way back. And I think the last message we received from him was something like he was $200 down on the day. So he had clawed back about $200 from his losses that he had. So very interested to see exactly what he was going to do. I do honestly think I want to believe that he made it. I really do. But I think that potentially they got a hotel, but like a very cheap one. And they paid out of pocket, because I don't know if they would have wanted to sleep on a bench or under a bridge. So yeah. Any root, any forever, how you mate? Good morning. Do we need to send an APB for MGN? Yeah, like where the hell is he? He sent a message this morning saying good morning, and then I don't know, maybe he fell asleep again. Unbiased trader, yes, first time. Well, dude, I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome to the absolute madness that is the stream. If you're uninitiated, what we do like to do is we like to have a lot of just absolute banter and fun. If there's somebody on, the stream with me that can have a nice little discussion with me, I do try to do a top-down analysis on the pairs that I normally trade, which is EU, GU, Gold, and then I've also added the NAS 100, which is I'm very new to, so I'm still kind of like figuring out how it moves. But if there's any other pairs that you would like to have a look at, maybe from my point of view, then you can ask in the chat, and then I'll try and do my best to do a top-down analysis for you on how I look at it. You've obviously seen me on the Fivers stream, so you know like roughly how I trade. I am a trend trader, and I tend to trade based off of areas of interest that I deem of interest, that are just support and resistance points. And then I want to see slowed momentum from those support and resistance points, and then I want to see a change in the characteristics of the trend. So if it's consolidation, I want to see a break, retest, continuation. If it is trending, I want to see it continue trending. Or if it is slowing its momentum, I want to see a change in trend to go from bullish to bearish, or bearish to bullish. That's generally what I do. Pooley unbiased trader, welcome to the madhouse. Very much so, mate. Like, this is a mad stream. Like, but we do have, apart from the Fivers, I feel like we have one of the best communities out there. We have a premium Discord. We also have a free Discord, but the premium one, we have like games nights on Fridays. We have streams between this stream and the Fiverr stream, as an example, where we're just sitting in chat and we're just talking a whole lot of crap and talking about all kinds of trading related things and non-trading related things. We have a personal trainer who's Ewan, Will's brother, that also has streams that he goes through as well, trying to get people to become fit again. So like an actual trained and certified personal trainer, not trader. So yeah, great to have you here, and would like to extend the hand to any of the people that you know that might enjoy this kind of content. Bring them on over as well. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, and then join the Discord if you haven't already. All of the links is in the description box below. So yeah, love to see you there, mate. To be honest, I have school runs between 8 and 9, but today I'm under the weather, so I got a chance to log in as going late to drop off, but will definitely join live after 9 a.m. Dude, awesome. Like, whatever your routines of the day, if you can add us into that routine and you have time for it, then we're happy to oblige, mate. We'd love to have you there. Infinity, what about gold, Rich? I'm going to get to gold immediately. EU, I'll skip for now. Let's have a look at gold. Gold, you can very plainly see is very bullish at the moment. So this is on the 15-minute. I will go over to the daily. The daily, it's going to be quite quick. Nothing much has changed from yesterday on gold, apart from the fact that we had a very bullish day, very, very bullish. So this low that we had here on the day, basically, was respected. Same as yesterday. Yesterday we had the same idea that price respected this point down here. When it tried to push higher, it failed. But when it tried to push lower, it failed miserably, as you can see, where we started pushing bullishly again. So what are we looking for? Now we have this area over here, which we need. This is a daily bearish base. We need to see price break through this point on the daily candle. So already bullish. And we do have an area down here which can be tested. Let's refine it. 4 hourly. Let's have a look. If there's anything on the 4 hourly that makes a bit more sense. We had the lower attempt, failure, higher high. So let's refine this. This is now the most recent attempt to push lower strongly, let's rather say, where you had price make it low, a lower low in relation to the previous one, then a higher low, then equal lows. We had a little bit of indecision here. It tried to push lower, it failed, and then from this point it really started pushing up higher. So this is the very first of the low points of interest. If we were to try and push lower, we do have this point right here where price, this was the last time on the 4 hourly where there was any bearish influence on the 4 hourly, this whole section here. So from there to there, we have a whole area of interest. This is like I said, this is the very last time where the bears even attempted to be a part of the discussion, and then from there on, price just absolutely rallied. So that is on the 4 hourly. Let's have a look on the hourly. We're just looking at the bottom end right now. I'll get to the top end for you as well. Maybe this daily one I can just pull back a little bit so that doesn't obscure my vision. I do like this area down here for a much deeper retracement. If we do eventually start pushing lower from this daily point, let's say we stop going bullishly and we start turning bearish from this point, this is one of the areas that I would like to test. There is also a very nice hourly base here, but we have a hourly base that has a break and a retest just below it. So I do like the break and retest ones a little bit more because you already seen a reaction from this point. So here bears tried to break this trend, they failed, they attempted to break the trend, which they also then failed. So this is a much stronger point to me than just the last time that they attempted to break it, because we actually have evidence of a test and failure, where with this one we don't have the evidence of the failure just yet. So if I just put it over there as an example, it hasn't been tested. This whole section here has not been tested at all. So if it does come and tested, we'll see how it reacts off of it. But for me, this is the base area. So this is on the hourly. This is a bullish base that's already had one reaction off of it. So I like this area quite a bit. And then obviously you have the lows and highs of certain sections. So this was let's take it from the high of London to the high of New York. So you have this whole area here as a potential test area as well. Let's go to the left and see how price reacted towards the left of where price is currently. Okay, so this is the daily. I'm going to remove the daily. We do have a reaction point here. So price was bearish, pushed down, attempted to push higher, failed, pushed lower, retested it, failed, retested it yet again, and then completely failed after that. So that hour, the daily one is now refined down to an hourly. So this is an hourly bearish base, which is where we are currently. Let's see if there's anything to the left. We do have failure points over here. So the bottom of there to that point over there. Let's put it through and see how we can refine it so we can see reactions. Obviously, to the left of this section, there's nothing because this was all-time highs. So there's no point in trying to go further back than that. Yeah, this looks okay. So it's a little bit of consolidation. Price pushes above, retests and pushes off of it, retests it, pushes off of it, and then eventually just absolutely tanks through it. So I do like this, but let's say if it's there, no, still not. That's fine. We'll just keep this area. So this is the very next test area. After that, we don't really have much of a testing area on the hourly. What's there on the 30-minute? Here we have a, yeah, I like this area as well. Potential area for us to come and test right after one of these two are broken. And then you have the very next portion of that would be either this area over here or the all-time highs. So this is the areas that I think price can come and test, the multiple ones that I think it can come and test if we start continuously pushing bullishly. Do we know if we're going to have all-time highs by the end of the year? We are $250 away from all-time highs. I think we can, because we still have, what are we, the date is the 11th. So we still have the whole of December, but December is like a deceptive month because we have so many bank holidays. We have the market wind down basically over the holiday season, that whole week between, let's say, the week of Christmas all the way to New Year. That whole section is just quiet, just dead quiet. So would we see, we can basically exclude that whole last week and a half of December and maybe the first 2 days of January completely. So let's say 2 weeks. So if we subtract 2 weeks, that leaves us with 3 weeks of this month and 2 weeks of next month. So 5 weeks. So we need to see $250 of movement over the next 5 weeks if we want to come and test all-time highs, which can happen. I mean, I don't have the weekly chart up, but let's put the weekly one up, 1 week. And we just see how price moved over the space of 1 week. So we've got 5 weeks. So let's start here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a whole 5 weeks of movement. That is $420-ish on this section over here. So from here as well, slightly less. That is $335. Over these 5 weeks to where we are now, price dropped $410 dollars. So I think we can. Let's say from where we are now, that is what 5 weeks could potentially look like. I mean, it's not impossible, but are we going to see it? I don't know. But it's besides the point. As of right now, we are starting to. You can see it on the daily as well. We're starting to really push bullishly. But first, like I said, we need to break this hourly high here. We need to break this previous base area, which I've refined. So it's no longer just on the candle body itself. We've refined it down to from the daily to the hourly. We need to see price push past this point, and then we need to see which of these areas where we've previously had reactions, previous points where price has reacted, support and resistance points, areas where, like for argument's sake, down on the half hour, this very last one that I marked here, where price tried to push lower, kind of consolidated, and then volumetrically pushed out of that area. So areas of interest. Do I have a half hourly? No, I do not. So yeah, these are the areas that I want to see tested and broken on gold as we're pushing higher. And these two most recent one, this hourly bullish base, and then these 2 points of interest for sells. Right now, I want to see a reaction off of this hourly base. If price breaks above, retests it, and starts pushing higher, then I would want to see this one over here be the testing point. And it's $30, which is more than what I'm normally looking for. I'm looking for a $10 move. So this is more than enough. Then I can look for some sort of buy here, gold, something like this. Obviously, if we do get the break, retest, and then continuation, that's what I would be looking for. The inverse, obviously, is we fail to break above. We fail to break above this box. We start pushing lower. We retest this base. We try to push back into the box. We fail, and then we collapse lower. And in that case, I will then start looking for sells somewhere over here. Oh, wow, that's perfect. That would be the perfect trade. Oh, almost. Something like that. I would want to see price start pushing lower and then come and test this area down here. So whichever comes first is the one that I will trade, and that would be MGN's internet is down. Okay. That is unfortunate. Yeah, generally, our internet service provider doesn't take the longest of time to fix the internet if there's a problem, because it's fiber. So if the fiber cables are a problem, it's generally within a day they'll be out to come and fix it. If it is something on their side, like let's say it's from I don't have issues with mine, so it's not a problem. So it could be that localized to his area where he's staying, because we live in the same town but in different portions of the town. His ISP, the ISP to his specific area might be down, so that could be a day, could be longer. In the wilds, good morning in the wilds, mate. How are you this morning? Did you go for a run this morning? I didn't. I wasn't in the mood. It's my mother-in-law's birthday today. This, like October, November, and February, those 3 months, and then April as well, those 4 months. So February, April, October, and November is the most densely packed birthday months for my family, my friends and my family and whatnot. My mother-in-law, they're the same month. They're 7 days apart. My dad, my father-in-law, same month, 7 days apart. My wife and myself, same month. We're further apart. most of our friends is either November or February, and then my brother is April. Our best friend is April. It's just there's so many like birthdays and whatnot that you have to like party for, get go and get party stuff. That's what we're doing this weekend. This weekend is my mother-in-law's birthday party, so we're doing a Mexican themed party, which is something we normally do. We do themed parties. New Year's we did a fluorescent party. I don't know how to. You get like black lights, so the fluorescent lights, and then you absolutely darken a room, and then you have glow in the dark paint that you paint everywhere. Everybody's wearing like clothing that like really reflects nicely with neon light. So you do like white clothing, pink, yellow clothing, pink clothing, stuff like that. You would paint your nails, paint your face, all of that stuff. So when you're moving around, everybody's just this fluorescent bundle of joy. And then obviously glow sticks and stuff like that. So we do like our themed parties. Anyway, that's gold. Gold, Infinity. If you're going to look for sells or buys, I am more leaning towards buys because of the fact that we are bullish on the trend, but that can change at any point in time. At any point in time, we can start reversing into a different direction. I want to see this area where we are currently. I want to see a break, and I want to see a continuation towards the upside. That's the bias that I have, but my bias will change depending on what the price action is going to give me. As it is right now, it was moving very nicely as it was pushing up during the day. And we've reached the high of the day, but now we're seeing quite a bit more selling pressure coming in. So there's a bit of a tussle here, a back and forth between buyers and sellers. So just be aware of that. Be careful that you think, okay, price is going to start pushing bullishly, and then you haven't had the confirmation that one of the two parties has now stepped aside. So that's basically what you want to see. You want to see a little bit of consolidation and then a break. You want to see that. You want to see one of either the bulls or the bears take over. So in this case, the bulls took over here. Now we've come to a point where they're back in contention with each other. You want to see one of the two take over, and then you can decide. And the nice thing is you can see whenever you do have an area where there's a little bit of indecision and you have a break, sometimes it tests it, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just rushes off. So something that I've liked checking, if I just go down to the 5 minute, this is where I take my trades in anyways, on the 5 minute. But let me show you something. Come back here. Here we have consolidation. You can see it on the 5 minute. It's a broad section of consolidation. Price is up and down and up and down and up and down the whole time. So this was yesterday. Top of Tokyo. There's just, it looks like it's slowly pushing higher, slightly higher highs in relation to the previous one, but very little conviction. There's very little momentum pushing it all that much. This is a $15 range, so 150 pips on gold. Eventually, what we have is then we have a break. We start pushing higher. We convincingly making a new high in relation to this area of consolidation. Price pushes higher, eventually makes the high of the day, which was the London high. And then from there, we started pushing back lower. What do? We eventually come back into this area of consolidation. You can adjust this area of consolidation however you want. You can, have it something like that. It doesn't really matter. But the point just stands that price gravitated towards the area of consolidation and then had a reaction. It wicked into it and then started pushing up again. But notice that we did not make a new high in relation to the previous one. Now, Something that I've come to realize is whenever we have something like a downward push into an area of consolidation and the follow-up leg, so this is the first leg, this is the second leg. This leg here, if it doesn't convincingly push higher, there's a potential that it might come and test the consolidation yet again, which it did. But notice where this low, the first leg's low, is in relation to, so you can say inverse head and shoulders, but like it's a decapitated head and shoulders. You can just say it's an M or a W. So price pushes down, retraces, attempts again, and then starts pushing higher. So you have a W. Okay. But notice how this leg over here is higher than the previous one. So you can see it pushes down, reacts, it attempts yet again, and then starts pushing higher. So you obviously don't know how this leg is going to react. All you see is this. You just see price come down, retrace, retest, and then you start seeing it reacting. So you don't know the full volume of this fifth movement. So leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 4. So fourth leg, but like the fifth movement itself, because you're technically taking the consolidations breakout as one move as well. So one move, second move, third, fourth, and then fifth. Here, if you see something like this, when you have the failure to push lower than the previous low, this point over here, you can always just go and take a buy here, aiming for the top. So something like this, where price comes down, wait for the confirmation. The confirmation would be the candle closes above the box after it's tested the box. So this candle over here, you can take a buy there. As an example, you can either have your stop loss just below the last swing point, or you have it below the most recent swing point, and then you can aim for the top of the range, something like that. In this case, this would have been a 1 to 2.5, almost 2.6 R trade. If you go a little bit lower, you're still around about 1.87, 1.85 R trade. And I'm not saying blindly enter it, but the concept of it, consolidation, break, retest, and then some sort of structure that indicates a failure to push lower. Because obviously, this is an area of interest, as well as this top section. But this top section has yet to be tested in its entirety when it reaches this point over here. So here, price is very far from the top section. It's still to be tested. And on top of that, you are bullish. So you're in the direction. You're testing in the direction. Price comes down, tests the consolidation, it breaks it, retests it, continues. So this kind of movement you'll see a lot. So you'll see it here. You don't really see it all that much down here because we're a little bit flat across this section. So on breakouts of consolidation, if you had this area over here as consolidation, what do you have? This is the consolidation. Let me move this out of the way. Consolidation, break, retest, push back, continue lower. So here you don't really have, you have the first move leg, and then a failure, and then a continuation lower. So this is technically a new downward trend that is busy forming because you're making lower highs in relation to the previous one, and you're making lower lows. But the same idea, it pushes away, it comes back, it breaks yet again, and then eventually when it comes back again, it completely pushes much lower. Not as clear as the first one, but the same concept still stands. Price consolidated, broke down, it attempted to retest the consolidation. It passed the retest, meaning it is back in the direction of the break. If it failed, it would have pushed higher. You could have potentially on the close of this candle taken a trade, have your stop loss just above that point, and then The only issue here is where you're aiming for. You're going to have to aim for price action way to the left, where you can see, like for argument's sake, price here reacted a little bit better. So you would want to aim for this point down here as an example. This would have been a 1 to 1.6. And you would have eventually gotten the trade. You would have had a little bit of drawdown. But that is things that I've been noticing about gold specifically, that it's very quick and easy to recognize these like W's forming with the lower lows failing to break the previous low, and then just starts pushing up. I mean, you could always have waited for price to absolutely break this most previous high, but then if you took a trade somewhere over here where it finally closes above the line, which is there, where would you aim? Would you aim for this last swing point over here? Would you aim for that one? That's completely up to you. I mean, if it's down here and you're aiming just for the highs, that is a 1 to 1.5, which is a great trade. That is a great ratioed trade for you to test. That sounds brilliant, Rich. Yeah, like our themed parties are a crap ton of fun. Really is. You have the right amount of people. We generally have either a boma that's burning on the one side, where people that want to be away from all of the flashing lights and stuff like that, where they can just chill. So you have a boma, some marshmallows that you can like campfire. So you can burn some marshmallows and have fun with that. Or we have a braai going, so there's a fire, everybody brings meat, alcohol. It's good. It's always fun. Rich, can you explain the current consolidation position? So where we are currently right now on gold, I'm assuming you want to know on gold. Yeah, I assumed you meant can. So right now, if you just look at what is consolidation, that's the first and foremost thing that you need to break down for yourself. Consolidation is no clear direction. It is similar highs, similar lows within a specific band, and there's generally the sequence, let's rather say, of bear to bull candles is something more to this regard. You have so many bulls and bear candles in one area and no clear defined direction. So this is a very small area of consolidation. If you just take this little section, this is on the 5 minute. If you can see this on any of the time frames. The concept still stays the same. Sorry, I had a air bubble stuck. This is a small little area of consolidation on the 5 minute. You generally want to either look at the full candle movement, meaning the wick included. But what I've found is that if you just use the candle bodies, the wicks itself tells a story of failure to push higher. If you just look at the closes and the opens of the candles as your area of consolidation viewpoint, every time you have a candle wick that pushes above it but fails to close, that is your area of consolidation. It tried to, it failed. It tried to, it failed. It stays within this area. Where ranging or trending, this is ranging. Trending, obviously, you have multiple candles of the same type in one direction. So you have multiple bear candles, one bull candle, multiple bear candles, one bull candle, two bull candles, something like that. So right now on the 5 minute, this is an area of consolidation. What did we have? We had the break on this candle over here, a nice volumetric break in relation to how big the previous candles were. You have the retest, which it succeeded on, and then it's now starting to push a little bit up. But notice that it is still very subdued. Even though we had a break, it now seems as though we are making equal highs and equal lows yet again across this point. So we've broken just to enter another area of consolidation yet again. What's nice about this bottom area is that it is a multiple test. Okay, my trading view is resetting. There we go. You have multiple tests on this lower end. So you can technically say that you had the break. Oh, this is a little bit of consolidation. You have the break, bit of consolidation, break, large area of consolidation, break, consolidation, break lower, consolidation. So as it stands right now, I'm still looking for buys, but it is not so strongly bullish. We're making equal highs across this section over here. So the problem with equal highs is that if you don't have a strong reaction off of that equal high, it's potentially going to break that high eventually. So you can almost think of it as the price is condensing. So there's the break. It makes a low. It consolidates around. It tries to push lower. It fails. It comes and retests it, makes a higher low in relation to the previous one, and now it tests it yet again. Now, if it's going to push back again, it should not, in theory, break lower than this last push lower, and then it will eventually then break. So you're condensing, let's say, equal highs, and then your price is condensing till it eventually breaks. So price is hopping between the high and the low, and it's making higher lows till it eventually either decides to break higher or break lower. So the difference is, in this case, this is an area of interest because we've had multiple tests of it, but there is a lot of tests lower than it that could potentially be viewed as failures to push lower as well. So here we have an equal low just on the wicks between these two. So be careful with the way that you're going to attempt to trade this, because it's not a given just because it is a pattern like this that it's going to break lower or break above. It's really going to depend on where the price decides to be at that point in time. So as it stands right now, this seems to be the area of consolidation that we're in. This high point and this low point over here. No clear direction right now. I hope that clears things up for you, my friend. EU is doing the selling things. Let me just have a look at GU as well. GU is still trying to push lower. I do like this attempt to push lower. EU looks good to come and test down here yet again. We just took the highs of Tokyo, which is also the highs of New York. Yeah, we just took the highs of New York, the New York session. And now it seems as though we want to push lower. First and foremost, we need to break through this area over here, after which we can then test the lows of Tokyo, and then after that we can potentially come and test the lows of yesterday. Yeah, this is the range right now. I'm going to remove this one and remove this one. This is the range currently. These two boxes. We are making slightly higher highs in relation to the bottom end of the box. And the top end of the box, we're just wicking slightly higher. So there is a potential for us to push bullish at some point. Just currently on the price action as it is now, because you're technically making higher highs and higher lows. So higher low in relation to this one, higher low in relation to that one, higher high in relation to this one, even though it might be considered as an equal high because it's so close to each other. But this one here is higher in relation to this one over here. So overall, this is the area that I'm looking at. This bottom section here and this top section over here. A little bit sideways. Probably going to see a little bit more action a little bit later in the day. Let's have a look at the NAS. Thank you, Rich. It's a pleasure, mate. Anytime. Is it live from 8 until 9:30? So normally if it's myself and Will, then we'll do 8 until 9:30. But if it's just myself, then I tend to keep it at 1 hour, just so that I don't run out of things to discuss. Like last half hour, me just sitting here rambling and going the whole time is not entertaining at all. So I generally keep it to about an hour, which we've literally just hit now. If you do want me to carry on a longer unbiased trader, I'm more than happy to. But then I'm going to need some interaction from the chat. I'm going to need people to ask questions or let's talk about something, But otherwise, we'll probably be calling it very soon. I'll probably give it another 5 to 10 minutes. I want to just quickly run through the NAS, and then, then I will probably call the stream dunsies for now. On NAS, going to the 15-minute, I've been testing a theory, and the theory is that it is exactly the same as any other pair. We'll stick with your schedule. Thanks. All right, cool. I have a theory, and the theory is that NAS is no different than any other pair and that it can potentially move in the same way. I've been testing my specific strategy for the last 2 months, basically, 2 months of data. I tested it over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, was doing just back testing. And I got a really good win rate with a 1 to 2 RR risk to reward. So the idea is I'm going to start introducing NAS and gold into my afternoon trades, my during New York session, and then pound and euro is going to be my London session. So if it's a blue box, then it is EU-GU. If it is an orange box, it is gold and NAS. So I will keep you guys updated on how I'm seeing it play out. But as it is right now, it looks pretty good. Now, as you do morning, I think DAX will be a good idea. DAX is something that I have absolutely never had a look at. So I remember when long before the Apex Brotherhood trading was a thing, the live stream, we had LLTF, which was the London Live Trading Floor, which is where Will and Richard Wells used to trade on. And they used to look at DAX very, very rarely. Very rarely. But if DAX is something that you like trading, and if DAX has a clear structure that I can notice, then I would always try and understand it and see if there's something that I can find from it. If I just look at yesterday, this looks very nice. If we just look at, we have this small little area of consolidation. Wow, actually, I didn't even see this portion over here. We have this area of consolidation. It's consolidating, struggling to make higher highs. It breaks, it retests it, struggles, breaks yet again, retests it, and starts pushing higher. We go into another area of consolidation over here. We have a break. We have a break. It retests it, push higher. So the idea of a break and retest strategy on something like the DAX German 30 looks good. I don't mind that. That actually looks pretty good. I can work on something like this. I'll have to go and do some backward testing first, and kind of, because I know very little about the DAX. I know very little about how it moves, how it likes to move. So I'm not going to claim to be some sort of expert on it. Let me do some back testing on it. Let me have a look at it first, if you don't mind, Unbiased Trader, so that I can kind of get an idea of how it moves and how it likes to move, and then we can talk about DAX every day. If you rock up and you want to talk about DAX, we'll do it every day. I do trade Bitcoin, DAX, and NDX. Only so pushing, asking. Dude, it's all fine. I don't trade Bitcoin anymore, but I'm more than happy to have a look at Bitcoin. I do have it on my cryptos list. There's only 2 cryptos here that I look at. I used to buy and hold Bitcoin, but I don't trade it. I don't know. It's just I used to want to trade Bitcoin over the weekend, just so that I have something to trade over the weekend. And then I just decided, you know what? Weekends are for weekends' sake. It's a day to rest and whatnot. I will do back testing, but I won't do any sort of trading over the weekend. So I completely stopped trading Bitcoin. But I'll definitely have a look at the DAX, and then obviously NDX. I mean, we have NAS. So, but I'm assuming you also do a little bit of futures trading then as well, don't you? If you're doing NDX, why not just do futures trading with that one as well? And then Pooley, 97% correlation between the S&P 500 and the DAX as well. And then that means that NAS also is slightly more correlated as well, because the NAS likes running similarly to the S&P. So you can basically have those three, the S&P 500, the DAX, and the NAS, to look as a way to correlate between them. I mean, it's the same with EU and GU. There's quite strong correlation between them, but it doesn't mean you have to trade them specifically. But Unbiased Trader, I will definitely have a look at the DAX as well. I can't remember. There was somebody in the LLTF community that used to, like, that's all they wanted to trade was DAX, DAX, DAX. I can't remember who that was. It doesn't matter. But anyway, just backtesting DAX as you speak, funnily enough. Yeah. Pooley, Unbiased Trader, are you in the Discord? If you're not in the Discord, get yourself into the Discord. Myself and Pooley have been discussing the NAS for the last few days. If you want to, get into the Discord, and then we can have discussions in the live trading floor, or even in just the normal chat. We can have discussions around the DAX correlated with the S&P 500, correlated with the NAS. Get yourself in there. Let's chat. Let's see if we can learn from each other, and then whatever findings I get and Pooley gets and you get, we can compile them and we can just chat. Awesome, mate. Get you in there. Pooley, that's my thinking. Batman, pick the best sets up in line with correlation. That's great. All right, guys. I think with that, I'm going to call it today. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for everybody that has been sticking around with us every day from the beginning until now. I would really appreciate it if you guys can drop a like. And if you haven't, please subscribe. We do this for free, completely free. It is for the community. We want to create an area, a space where people can literally just come and talk shit, just have fun, just try and learn, but we're a small community, so everybody basically gets what they ask is pretty much answered. So yeah. Yes, it was Paul Brown. You're right, it was Paul Brown. Haven't seen Paul Brown in forever, mate. He was the one that would rock up and then just say Dax, Dax, Mighty Dax. I remember that. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you very much once again for joining me today. I'll see you guys in the Fiverr stream this afternoon for those of you that are going to join in on the Fiverr stream. If not, you will see me again tomorrow morning, same time, same place. And then once again, if anybody would like to join me on stream and just come and talk some shit, I don't know. It doesn't have to be an interview. I don't have to interview if you don't want to. If you just want to come and keep me company, you guys are more than welcome to send me a message in the Discord saying, hey, listen, I want to join. I'll send you a link. All you need is a camera, a microphone, and good vibes. And that's it. And then we can have some fun. All right, guys, with that, that's me, Richard. I'm out. See you guys later or tomorrow. Cheers.